Hi everyone, Mike here. This is the instructional playthrough for Outpost 2099 and demonstration of that game. It's yet to be published, so what I have here is one of the outposts printed out on my home printer. There's a bit of blocking you can see here in the dark background, but obviously that won't be there in the book. That's my printer struggling a little bit with some of the colours and so on, but that's, you know, a pretty good example of what an outpost looks like. This is outpost number 3, so certainly the first one is reasonably straightforward to get used to the mechanics. The second one slightly more difficult, and they do tend to get a little more difficult as they go through. There are 10 to play in total. So this is number 3, which is where it starts to get a little bit challenging, but hopefully should be able to get somewhere near to winning it. So this is the outpost here, and it's split up into these areas, each with a sort of different colour. See, there are rooms here, as they're called, or areas. These roundish or rounded purple areas are turrets, and you can see the guns there, which are numbered, and they point at certain tracks along which the aliens are going to advance. You have 4 crew members here, but you only use 3 of them for each playthrough, and you select them randomly. So straight away you can see that there is some replayability in terms of the constitution of your team being different. So let me introduce you to these guys. This is Ellen, Sarah, Max and James, and they have their own action chart along here, you can see, and there's also a robot which can be activated, and that has its action chart there. So there's colour coordination between the counters which come with the game and the chart here. That's not essential, you can use anything. In playtesting I've often been using kind of meeples like this, sort of wooden meeples, or even cubes early on as well. Works just as well. The colour coding is useful but not essential, as long as you know who is who. So you select 3 of those. So they each have their own action chart here, set of actions that they can perform. Ellen and Max are scientists, hence the sort of scientist character on their token. Sarah and James are soldiers, so they're better at defending the outpost from aliens. These are better at doing the research. There's a research tracker along the bottom of the outpost here that runs 1 to 12. And the idea is that you research up to 12, and after that point, when you attack an alien, it will be eliminated from the game, and once you've eliminated all 6 aliens, then you've won. Whilst the research level is being built up to 12, when you attack an alien, it simply returns back to the start of its track. So they keep coming in that sense, but you can push them back, hold them back, but they will keep coming at you. Okay, so this is a sort of States of Siege, I guess, style of game. So let's get set up and started, because I think often it's better just to get cracking, isn't it? And I'll explain rules as we go through. So set up really quick. All we need to do here is put an alien on the start of each of the 6 tracks. Okay. You might have noticed there are 6 more aliens up here, which look slightly different. They are what are called indestructible aliens, which cannot be killed, and we'll have a word about those a little later. For now, I'll just shunt them off the edge of the map, of the board there. Okay, the robot starts unactivated, so I'll put that up the top there as well. We've got a shield token here which comes into play. I'll put that up there as well. The research tracker token goes on the start there, on the R, so ready to do the 12 pieces of research that we need. And as I say, I need to choose 3 crew members at random. What I tend to do is just shake them up and drop them on the board, and as often as not, they land with either 3 down and 1 up, or 3 up and 1 down, in which case I take the odd one and put them out of the board and have this as my crew. So I've not got Ellen this time, which means if we look at Ellen's chart over here, she can, or she is best at researching. She has 2 research actions here, so a 5 or a 6 to her will allow her to research. You can see that Sarah and James, the 2 soldiers, cannot research at all. Max can research, but only with a 3. So straight away my research options with these 3 are tricky, and it's probably fair to say that Ellen is the worst crew member to be without, but it still doesn't mean the game is impossible at all, because you'll see that the robot, for example, can research, and it's a really good idea to have the robot activated as often as possible. And here I'm going to need the robot, I think, to help me with the research, so we'll deal with that when we come to it. So set up and say easy. You choose your 3 crew members, put your aliens out, set your research tracker at 0, and then you can place your 3 crew members anywhere in the outpost. And what I tend to do at the start is place them in the robotics room. Okay, this is the robotics room, so this is coloured sort of browny colour. Don't know how well that comes down through the camera. I think it's browny colour. It's got this robotic arm here, so for people that struggle with colours, and I know that's a higher percentage of the population than many of us appreciate, there are symbols as well to help with that. So the colour coordination is helpful, but it's certainly not essential. The robotics room is brown, as is the robots chart over here, and the robot token itself, so it all sort of ties in together. If we want to activate a robot, we have to use the robot action, which you can see everybody has. James has got it there, Max has got it, Sarah's got it, and Ellen would have it as well. We haven't got Ellen, but so everyone can activate a robot. And robots are just useful for filling in missing, the gaps in your crew's skill set. As we haven't got Ellen, and therefore we're struggling a little bit for research, but the robot will help us with that. So I want to get that activated, so I'm going to put all 3 in the robotics room in the hope that one of them will roll or be allocated that for their action. For this game you need 6 standard dice, 6-sided dice, there we are, that's all you need. So I'm placing them there, so we're ready to go. Okay, so the first thing that happens is the alien phase. Okay, so we go first. The alien phase is there in this grey box. And then we have the crew phase, which is down here. So we've got the chart itself, and then the actions are explained down here as well. And there's a reminder at the bottom about the research level and what it means. Okay, so we're going to start with the alien phase, and it says roll 6 dice. So let's do that. We roll 6 dice, and we can see that that's what we've got. And all that happens on the alien phase, certainly to start with, we'll see things get a little bit more, slightly more involved when they get into the outpost, because what happens here is the aliens are coming towards the outpost, but they don't just, it's not just sort of game over when they get into the outpost. They enter the outpost and then they start hunting your crew. The game is only over when all your crew members are dead. Okay, so you don't lose by losing a crew member, you win by defeating the aliens before all of your crew are dead. Right? I guess if you wanted a really tough game, you could say to yourself that you have to win with all your crew alive, but that tends to be quite tricky. So I've rolled the dice here, so you can see that what we do is just deal with them in order. So we go 1, 2, and then the 3s and the 4. These relate to the aliens themselves, so all we're going to do at this stage is move them down their track by the number of dice that there are. So there's 1, 1, so the alien 1 will move 1 space. There's a 2, so alien 2 will move 1 space. There are 3, 3, so alien 3 goes like that. And there's a 4, so that alien moves there. 5 and 6 do not move this phase. Okay, simple as that. So this is a really quick AI. The vast majority of the time you are playing this game, you will be thinking about and conducting your own crew, playing your turn, in other words. So the AI, even when the aliens get into the outpost, it never takes more than about 20 seconds to conduct. So then it comes to us. What we do then in our phase is we roll 1 die per crew member. Okay, so we take, in our case, 3 dice because we have 3 crew. Roll those and we get 2, 6, 6. Put them down here. It does say then you may re-roll 2 or more matching dice once only. So I could re-roll those 2 6s, not just one of them. It have to be both. If I'd rolled 3 6s, then I could re-roll 2 or 3 of them. Okay, but again, not one of them. But I've just got the matching pair, so I could re-roll those 2 if 6s are not helpful. What I then need to do is allocate those 3 dice to my 3 crew members, and they will perform then, or can perform if they wish, the action which relates to the number allocated to them in their chart, if that makes sense. And before you know it, after a game or two, you'll soon have this chart, or most of it, in your head. You'll know what the key actions are for each crew member. So what I think about first of all then is, what's happened to the aliens? Well, alien number 3 has come down its track quite some distance. So if I want to attack this alien 3, then one way of doing it, or the only way of doing it outside the outpost, is to get somebody into turret number 3 here, or the turret with the number 3 gun on it, and then do an attack action. Okay, so I probably want to get someone there as soon as possible. So I'm thinking maybe James could do that. The other thing I wanted to do, of course, was activate a robot. Now nobody has 6 as activate a robot, so we were looking for a 2, 3, or 5. We've got a 2, but that's James again. So James could activate the robot, but that means he's not then going to move as far, because these crew members can move the amount shown on the dice as well as performing their action, or perform the action. So we'll see how that works in a moment. So I've got a bit of a conundrum already. Do I want him to move 6 to get as near to this as possible, or do I want to? I know I want to activate the robot. So the question is now, how useful are these 6s for Sarah and Max? Well, Sarah could perform something called a pulse. Now she would need to be in the red room to do that, because you can see here the action is red, and also we know that because there's a room here that has the pulse symbol on it, this kind of heart monitor thing or graph or whatever. Pulse is quite useful. It's a defensive action, and that will push some of the aliens back 1 space, which can be helpful, of course. So that's quite helpful, but then Max would be left with a 6, and all he can do with that is freeze, and we'll see how freeze works later, but that's only relevant when there are aliens inside the outpost. And you do a freeze action down in this refrigeration room here, which is blue, as is the freeze command, but again it's got a symbol on here to remind you of that as well. Now Max is particularly good at freezing, because he's got 2 freeze actions, hence he is blue as well. Doesn't mean that's all he can do. He can do all these actions in his chart, but he's particularly good at freezing, so he'll be useful probably later on. What I'm going to do actually then is re-roll these 2 6s, because they're not terribly useful for me at the moment. That gives me a 6 and a 1, which is probably just as not helpful. I really could have done with one of these 2 guys activating the robot to allow James to move quicker, but I need a robot, so I'll leave James there. 1, you can see here, for all the human crew members, is a teleport action. Now teleport allows a crew member to move to any other space in the outpost. Okay, now for this outpost, of course, all the rooms are joined, but some later outposts are split into 2 or even 3 parts, so then you have to teleport to get to different parts. Also, you can't move through an alien, so once they're in the outpost, sometimes it's useful to teleport away if an alien is sort of cornering you. So I'm going to have to leave James with that. I think I'll leave Sarah with the pulse, and at least that allows me to put Max wherever I want him. So James is going to, no, not James first. Let's do Max first. Max is going to teleport, and I'm going to teleport him over to the research room. I'm going to put him there, I think, for now. Okay, so he's used the 1 to teleport over to there. You have to be aware of where they are, because this alien is potentially going to come into the outpost here. You can see where the orange arrow is. This alien is going to come in here, so I need to keep him away from those. It could go there, I suppose, as well, which also means he's nearer to his refrigeration room if he needs to get there to perform that action. So actually, let's leave him there for now. Let's leave him there. James then, no, still not doing James. Let's do Sarah. Sarah then can move 6. Okay, so she's moving, so she wouldn't be able to move through an alien, but she can move through a crew member, but she can't land on the same space as a crew member. But with a 6, of course, she can go 1, 2. Now I want her to stop in here in the pulse room, in the defense room, actually is what it's called, to perform a pulse action, because that's what her 6 is. So she's just going to move 2 and stop there, that's fine. And then she's going to perform the pulse. And the pulse, it says here, will push all aliens back on either tracks 1 to 3 or 4 to 6. Now that varies a little bit for some later outposts, but most of them are this. So I'm going to choose 1 to 3 for this pulse, so that will push that, and that alien back 1 space, which just helps stem the tide a little bit at this stage. Okay, so that's Sarah. Note that she can't now carry on moving. Okay, so the options here are to move and then do your action, or do your action then move, or just do the action, or do nothing at all. Okay, so James has got a 2. What he's going to do then is perform the action first, which for him and a 2 is a robot. So he activates the robot, and you can do that by placing the robot anywhere in the robotics room. This is why I couldn't do James's action first, because at that point there was no room in the robotics room. Now there is. I'm going to put the robot there, and then James is going to move 2 spaces. So 1, 2, moving through Sarah to there, on his way over to some of the turrets to see where he might be needed. Okay, so that's James. So that's my turn done. All right, so there's quite a lot of decisions, quite a lot of thought, and you'll see as you play the game, you'll start to appreciate there are actually a lot of things to think about. It's one of those games where you can make not mistakes in the rules but mistakes in the tactics quite easily, and then you sort of realize a few turns later you think, oh, I should have done that, or I should have done this or something. So that's us done. So now we go back to the aliens, and they take their 6 dice and roll those, and again we pick them out. So very quickly we just look at them, we can see it's 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 6. So we just go 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 6. Done. Easy as that. Okay, doesn't take any painful thought, no brain ache, just aliens doing what aliens do, which is charge towards the spaces where humans are in an attempt to devour them. Yeah, we all know that, don't we? We've seen enough films. Okay, now back to us. We've got the robot, we've got Sarah, we've got James, we've got Max. So we have 4 crew members. So the robot is now treated just like any other crew member. Okay, so it can be destroyed by the aliens just like everyone else can. Good thing about the robot though is when it is destroyed in any way, it can be reactivated by getting a crew member back to the robotics room and performing the robot action accordingly. Okay, so roll our 4 dice, which here we've got quite a lot of high dice here. Okay, so we've got 2 5s and 2 6s. Okay, now straight away, let me point out a problem with that particular roll. If we look at the robots chart here, you can see the robot can freeze, so we'll see what that does later. It can research, which is good. It can shoot as well, and the shoot command is purple, which means you have to be in a turret to perform that particular action. Okay, and that's fairly obvious because of the guns on the turret, so it's an easy one to remember. You can do those 3 things. That's dice rolls 1, 2, and 3. Okay, 4 is self-destruct. So if we give it a 4, it will self-destruct. That actually kills everything in the room in the same area as it, and then it's gone. We can still reactivate it. Okay, so imagine like in the robotics room there's a sort of rack of robots. We can just reactivate, either that one or a new one or whatever. 5 or 6 is malfunction. In that case, the robot will simply disappear as well. Okay, so it'll go take it away from the board, and again it has to be reactivated. But in that case, obviously it doesn't destroy anything else in the room with it. It just malfunctions. We've got 2 5s and 2 6s, so at the moment it's going to malfunction if we give one of those dice to the robot. Now sometimes that might be almost unavoidable, but we do have a couple of doubles here, so we can re-roll the 5s, of course, or the 6s in the hope of getting a 1, 2 or 3, which won't result in the robot self-destructing or malfunctioning. So we've got to work out what's best for us then. We want to keep the 5s or the 6s. Now, it'd be useful to have a 6, will it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, because the 6, James will be able to reach that turret, and he will then be able to shoot, because 6 is a shoot for James. So James is the best shooter out of the crew, simply because, not because he's got more shoots than anyone else, but because his shoot is in dice roll 6, which means he can move the furthest either before or after he shoots. So James is going to get a 6. So the question is, who wants the other 6? Well, Sarah could have the other 6, because again she could send out another pulse, which would be quite useful, because we can push back, as we saw before, either these 3 aliens or those 3 aliens. So I think we might just do that. I'm going to re-roll the 2 5s. The 5's no good really for Max. Well, it is no good for Max because it's activating a robot. We can only have 1 robot at a time, so you can't reactivate another one until that one's been destroyed in some way. So I'm going to re-roll these 2, hopefully something less than a 4. Oh, I've got a double 4, look. Oh dear, that's really unlucky. I've got 4 dice here. I've rolled 6 dice in total, and they've all come out as 4 pluses. Yeah, not great. So I'm going to have to give a 4 to the robot. Max can have a 4, which is not much use to him. He can shoot, actually. Oh, that's okay, actually. That's a shoot action for Max. I really want him to research, though, of course, because until I get this research tracker to 12, I can't win the game. So, but anyway, he can't research because he needs a 3 for that. And unfortunately, the robot's going. So let's do those things. The robot then, 4 will self-destruct in the robotics room. There's no crew there, so it's safe to do so. He will self-destruct. Of course, if there were crew there, I could move them out first, or I could move the robot into there, up to 4 spaces, and then self-destruct. So he self-destructs. Unfortunately, we've lost him so soon. We'll have to reactivate him fairly quickly. Max is going to move 2 down here of his 4, and then he's going to fire either turret 5 or 6. Well, he might as well fire turret 6 because 6 is nearer to the outpost. So that, remember, pushes that alien back to the start. Okay, because the research level is not yet at 12. James, similarly, he's going to move all 6 of his. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, there's no diagonal movement in this game. Right? Generally, the outposts always have, like usually single tracks. There are no big spaces of squares where you've got to think, oh, how they're going to move. There's always just one obvious, you know what I mean? It's like a track that runs through a single track, albeit with junctions coming off it. So James goes 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then he, of course, can shoot. So he will push this 3rd alien here back to the start, which gives us a bit of breathing space on that line. And Sarah then will do the pulse. It doesn't really matter where she does that. So we've got 4 and 5. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the top 3. I'm going to do 1 and 2. 3 would also get pushed back, but it's already back at the start, so that won't be affected. Because there's one thing to note about this particular outpost, as it says at the start here. It says, note that this outpost does not have a turret pointing at track 2. So we've got a turret here pointing at 1, 4, 3, 5 and 6, but there is no turret pointing at this line here. So there is no way of stopping this alien from getting into the outpost. Okay, we can probably deal with it when he does get there. And Sarah's pulsing helps to push the alien back, but there will come a time when when that alien will get into the outpost, no doubt. Okay, that's our turn. Aliens. So this time we've got 1, 3, 3, 5, 6, 6. So 1, 3, 3, 5, 6, 6. Like that. And remember, we only have 3 crew now because we lost the robot. So we're back to 3 dice, which in itself is bad. It just gives us fewer options. Okay, we just got the 1, 2, 3 here. Now, how does Sarah build a robot? Sarah activates a robot on a 3. So let's give her a 3 because I want to get that robot back. I'd like to give the 3 to Max because he needs to get on with his research, but I can't. And that does mean that James doesn't have anything particularly useful. I've got no reroll possibility here. 1 is a teleport, which is no use at the moment. Max could freeze on a 2. Don't need to. There's no aliens in the outpost. James can robot on a 2. Well, he doesn't need to because Sarah's going to do that. If I give the robot action to James on a 2, of course he can only move 2. He can't reach the robotics room, so it's no good. So I'm going to take this whole turn really for Sarah just to move 1 space into there and then activate the robot, which is a bit of a waste. It's probably going to come back and buy me that, but I need that robot. I did have a teleport. I'm just wondering whether I need to move anybody. I don't think I do. I think I'll leave them where they are at the moment. Okay, alien turn again. So the aliens, this time it's 2, 3, 4, 5, double 6. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. And we got a problem here. This alien here is almost in the outpost. So we are struggling a little already. We need some good rolls this time, please. Please give me something to play with. Okay. Again, no reroll opportunities and still no research, which is really bad for us. Okay, I think what I'm going to do this time is give the 6 to James because he can shoot with that. I'm going to give the 5 to Sarah because she can shoot with that. Does leave Max has the 4 because he can shoot with that. So at least we're doing lots of shooting to keep things at bay for the time being. And I'm going to give the 1 to the robot because I want to start moving that across to the research room. I want that robot working on research as well. We've got to get this moving. So Max is going to shoot, and he's going to shoot this 6 because he can shoot 5 or 6. So he's going to shoot 6 back to there. I'm going to leave him there as well. Sarah will then move 1, 2 into this end turret and shoot number 4 back. She can shoot 1 or 4. And the robot will move simply 1 space there. Note that the robot can't teleport. Okay, the robot can't teleport. So it just moves its 1 space across towards the research lab. All right. Oh, we didn't do James as well, did I? James is going to shoot. And he's going to shoot that alien back. So at least we've got them all pushed fairly well back. Just this 5 to worry about. Let's hope we don't see loads of 5s here. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 2, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 2, 4, 5, 6. Now, come on. Let's have some research. Okay, we've got chances to do research here. The trouble is, I could really do with max shooting. That's going to give me a bit of a conundrum. Max, I could do with max shooting this alien here because he's in turret 5. Because it's about to come into the outpost. Like, to do that, I would need a 4. Haven't got a 4, but I could re-roll the 3s in the hope of getting a 4. Probably have a sort of 1 in 3 chance of getting a 4 or something. Not that great. Alternatively, I could give him a 3 and he could go and research because he can reach the lab from there. James could shoot with a 6, would be helpful. Sarah can't really do anything useful with that. The robot could move quite a way. The furthest a robot can ever move is 3, of course. Yeah, I could give him a 3. I say it's the furthest it can move because it can move 4 and then self-destruct, but I mean, you know, staying alive 1, 2 and 3. It's a fairly slow thing, tottering around the outpost, but it's useful nonetheless. Yeah, I'll do that, I think I'll do that. So James then is going to hang on, think about it. There's no point James shooting because he can only shoot this alien here. He's in turret 3. It's already on this end space. I think I'm going to re-roll these 3s to see what I get. Dear, that's not worked out very well. I should have left it where it was. Oh dear. Yeah. Right, let's give James that. Max still can't shoot. He's probably reasonably safe in there. Sarah can stay over there. Let's give the robot 1. I'm not actually going to move the robot because this thing's coming in here. I'm not going to move Max. He can't do anything with the 2. James is going to come to 3, down to there. And Sarah is going to stay there, I think. Oh dear, she's going from bad to worse. Right. Let's throw the alien dice then. Oof, dear. This is a tricky one, but it's not usually this hard. Okay, so we got 2 1s, 1, 2. Next alien moves 2, 4 is moving 1, and then we got 6 on 2. Okay, so at least the 5 didn't move in. Got a chance to deal with that again. Right. Here we go. Come on. Right, so we've got lots of variety this time. Let's see what we can do with these. We can't re-roll, but we must be able to do something with these. Right, decision time on Max. What are you going to do? Oh, are you going to shoot or are you going to move? He's going to shoot. He's going to shoot, and that will allow the robot to move somewhere useful, I think. Thinking about it, maybe not. Maybe let's not. Let's have Max move. I'll have James do the shooting, and we'll have Sarah in there. Yes, that's good. Right, okay. So what we're doing this time is the robot is going to move 2 across there. Okay, it can't research because it's not in the laboratory yet. Okay, so it's just moving 2. Max is going to move 1, 2, 3 to there, and then research. Okay, because he had a 3. So we move the research tracker at 1 point. Hooray, at last. James then has a 6, so he's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4 into this turret and then shoot, because that's what 6 is to James. So he's then going to shoot this alien on track 5 back to there. Okay. And then finally Sarah has a 4, so what she's going to do is she's going to move 1, 2, 3 into the defense room. Okay, and she's the expert in there, she's red, and she's going to perform a shield action. Okay, so what you do is just get the shield token to remind us the shields are out. Usually just pop it around there somewhere. Sarah's activated the outpost's shield. What that means is no aliens can enter the outpost on the next alien phase. Okay, so that means we don't have to worry about this alien or this alien coming in, or this alien coming into the outpost on the next turn. Okay, so it's a useful little thing to do, but only when the aliens are quite close up. If they're already in the outpost, it doesn't affect them, of course, because they're already behind the shield. But that's quite useful. So let's now do the alien phase. We've got 3, 4, 4. You see that on the camera, I think there. Yeah, 3, 4, 4, triple 6. So 3, double 4, and then triple 6. So he would have gone 1, 2, 3, this alien. Okay. Would have gone 1, 2, 3. Right, 3 moves with 3 6s. However, it can only go 1. I'll explain what how we know where it moves once it gets in the outpost. But he can only move 1 because the shields are up. So he's stuck there. So it did do us some good having the shield up. Okay, back to us then. We've got 4 dice still for 4 crew members. Okay, so this time we have 3 4s and a 6. So we've got options here. Not sure how useful these 4s will be. Of course, Sarah could shield again. James can shoot, which is quite useful. But these 2 4s are not useful. And again, the robot is in trouble with 4s with these high numbers. It's going to disappear. So I'm going to roll all 3 4s actually. See what we get. We get 2 4 4. Okay, still not tremendously useful, but better. At least the robot can do something useful. Sarah still can. Max less so. Actually, no, Max can shoot, can't he? Which is where he is not that helpful, but let's do it anyway. So Max gets a 4. He goes 1, 2, 3, 4 into that turret. He can shoot with a 4, but he can only shoot from there at track 3. So he shoots that guy up there. James can shoot on a 6, so he will shoot this alien on track 6, which is good. Question is, do I want him to move at all? Because I'm a bit concerned about what's happening over here. So he's now going to go, because his 5 and 6 are right back there, there's not much point in him sitting in his turret. So he's now going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so he fired and then moved. In fact, I'm going to just leave him there because I'm a bit concerned. Am I? No, I'm not actually, because Sarah's about to activate the shield again. So that alien cannot get James. So that's okay. Then the robot can move 2, and that's its research action. So in fact, it's just going to move 1 into there, into the edge of the lab, and then research up to 2. Okay. Feels like we're beginning to move stuff around. But it's the alien turn again, and there are some quite close in here. So we have another triple 6, blimey. 1, 2, 5, triple 6. So the 1 won't move because it can't get in the outpost because the shields are up. Okay, 2 will move 1 space to there. 5 will move 1 space to there, and 6 will move 3. 1, 2, 3 with its 3 6s. Back to us. Okay, well, straight away I can see the robot can research with a 2. Let's move the shields for a moment before we forget. Now the 2 and the 5 less helpful here. Sarah could shoot with a 5 rather. I don't really want to re-roll the 2s because we've got to get that research up. It's a priority really, particularly because we don't have Ellen. And when you've got Ellen, you can almost research certainly every other turn, often every turn, so you get this much quicker. But because she's not a soldier, often you're lacking a soldier then, so your defences aren't as strong. So the different crew members do affect how you approach each outpost. What do we do? Leave Max there? I think we do. James and Max. Okay, so Max isn't going to move. He could have teleported, but he's not going to. The robot is going to research and probably stay where it is. It's fairly safe there. Sarah is going to go 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, in fact, down into this turret and then shoot. Or is she? See, I have a tendency of trying to protect this laboratory at all costs, but of course there's an alien there. I think I'm going to do that anyway. So she's going to shoot alien 6 back to its start of its track, and James is just going to nudge into that turret there, in the hope that one of these two is still there when he gets to shoot next turn, if he gets to shoot. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, double 1, 2, double 4, 5. So double 1. Right, you do these in order, remember. So alien number 1 is going to move first. Okay, so the first thing it does is if an alien on its track, move it 1 space towards the outpost. That's what we've been doing all this time. Okay, now it says, or if the alien is adjacent to the outpost, which this one is, move it 1 space into the outpost as indicated by the orange arrow, unless the space is already occupied by an alien. Okay, so alien, nobody can pass through an alien. Aliens can't pass through each other, and nor can crew members pass through an alien. You know, they're big things. Right? In other words, yeah, they block the whole area. So this alien will move into there on its first move, and then its second move, it says if the alien is in the outpost, move it 1 space towards the nearest crew member to which there is an open path. In other words, not blocked by aliens. On any tiebreaker, player gets to choose. So which crew members does it have a clear path to? It has a clear path to James, it has a clear path to the robot, it has a clear path to Max and Sarah, in fact, but the robot's obviously nearer. So basically James and the robot, and the nearest of them is James, so therefore it will move 1 space towards James, which is there. Okay, you never have to make a decision for the AI, it's all programmed. Other than when there's a tiebreaker and you genuinely just get to choose then. But it doesn't usually make a difference because it'll be still heading towards one of your crew. You should get to choose which. 2 then moves down there, and it does matter about doing these in order because if aliens are blocking each other, then the later aliens perhaps won't move when they might otherwise have done. So it is important to do them in the right order. 2 4s, so this goes here, and then remember it will go into the outpost. And there's a 5, which means he goes there. So we have a breach. We have a double breach, in fact. We've got 2 aliens inside the outpost. Now the turrets are no good anymore for shooting those 2 aliens. You can't, this turret can't shoot this alien. It's now inside the outpost. You can only shoot the aliens from turrets when they're on the track. So let's see what happens now. Okay, so we have 2 1s, a 3 and a 4. So we've got a re-roll opportunity there. I'm almost certainly going to re-roll those 2 because they are teleports. Having said that, I could give James a teleport because obviously if this alien moves next turn, it's going to move into James's space. And if it does that, James will be eliminated from the game permanently. Okay, so I'll have lost a crew member. That means rolling 1 less die every turn. It means that I don't have James to do his actions. And to be honest, at this stage, it probably means I'm going to lose. So I could teleport him out of there. However, in fact, there's 2 howevers coming. The first however is James has something called a laser sword, okay, which is a 3, right? So he can use a laser sword inside the outpost. Okay, it's quite an elegant weapon. So he can slice up an alien. It will still be returned. If he does, it gets returned to the start of its track. Okay. And it doesn't harm anybody else around it, but he can only kill 1 alien at a time with that. But the thing is with the laser sword, it says eliminate 1 adjacent alien. Not diagonal, because you don't do diagonals in this game, but it's got to be in the same area. Okay, so you can't use this thing through a doorway. All right. Imagine these areas are connected by kind of hatches that are fairly narrow, fairly small. You have to sort of climb through them. So he can't attack this alien here with his laser sword. So no point in giving him the 3. So the other however is we go back to the 1 because we don't want to lose James. Okay. If that alien wasn't there, James could have moved 1, 2, 3, and then laser sworded this guy back to the start of his track, or its track. Okay, but he can't move through this alien either. So unfortunately he's been cornered, and that's blocking him from doing anything useful with his laser sword. So James is instead going to teleport probably over here somewhere to safety. Okay. I'd like to have re-rolled those 2 1s, but I need that. I can't risk it. we haven't got a lot that's really helpful here. Max could shoot with a 4, but the alien is already on its starting spot. He might as well use the 3 to research while all this is going on. Sarah is probably just going to stay there for now, is she? There isn't a great deal she can do with a 4. She could put the shield up. Does that help at the moment? Oh, sorry, got another breach there. Sorry, got a triple breach, haven't we? We didn't realise that. Okay. All right. Things are getting a bit desperate. Yeah, there's no point doing shields now because Sarah'd have to go into that room to do it, and then she's almost certainly going to get attacked by one of these. So, not great at all. I'm actually going to move her 1 space into this corridor, and the reason I'm doing that is because she has something called a Scorcher, and she can perform this action here, the Scorch action. Basically means she's got some kind of futuristic flamethrower. So when she's in an area, she can kill all aliens that are in the same area as her by using the Scorch action. It will kill all the crew members in there as well, though, so we have to make sure there's no crew there, but she can potentially kill a couple of aliens or more at once. But of course, she can only move 2, because it's a 2 action. She can only move 2 spaces before she scorches, so 1, 2 allows her to move into there. So again, lots of little things to think about in this game, while she's playing your turn at least. So I'll give her the 1, sorry, I'll give her the 4, and she just moved 1 space. So sorry, I should be allocating for our move. Let me do it properly. Yeah. So we'd allocate like that. Sarah then is going to move 1 space. The robot is going to move 1 space just to move further away from these. Max is going to do 1, 2, and then research to get the research up to 4. So we're a third of the way there. And James is going to teleport to some kind of safety. And I just wonder whether I want to put him in the freezing room, in the refrigerator room, because we've got a lot of aliens in the outpost to get rid of. And I could potentially freeze them out, and we'll see how that works in a moment. He's not brilliant at freezing, but he's still got his laser sword as well. It just means we've got a 3 and a 5, so we've got options. Yeah, okay. Let's do it. Okay, this is starting to feel desperate. The aliens go next. And we have 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6. So we've got 3. Now this alien here is 1, 2, 3, 4 away from the robot, 1, 2, 3 away from X. So actually we'll move 2 towards James. So he's in trouble again there, isn't he? Crikey. Let's hope he gets a laser sword action. 2 5s, 1, 2. So the 5 is almost in there as well, and 6 is there. So that's coming down there. Okay, let's go, guys. At least you've got 4. We should be able to do something with this. Come on. Oh, it's terrible. We have no 3s. I'm going to re-roll the 2 2s. Oh, okay, we've got options then. We've got options. At least he can teleport out. But better still, he can use his laser sword. Sarah can shoot with a 5. And the other 2 will have to have the 1s. So the Max is going to stay where he is, I think. The robot's going to just move a little bit further into the lab. So those 2 are hiding in the lab and hopefully doing some research when they get the chance. Sarah's going to move 1 there and shoot alien number 5 back to there. 5 being her shoot action. James is going to use his laser sword. He's in the same area and adjacent to this alien. So that goes right back to its track. Start of its track. And that's pretty good, actually. Okay, here they come again. So we've got, oh dear, that's not good. We've got 2 2, 3, 4, 5, not what we wanted. So this 2 here, again, we're going to assess the distance. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Doesn't really make a difference. It's going that way, so it's going to go 1, 2. Hang on, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, okay. So there's a robot, there's Sarah, and there's James, all equidistant away, and it has a clear path to all of them. So we get to choose where we want it to go. And sorry, Mr. Robot, but the option always has to be, really, unless there's a good reason not to, 1, 2, 3, to move towards the robot, because of course the robot is replaceable, whereas the human crew are not. 3 then moves down its track. 4 moves up its track and 5 moves up its track. Okay. We got urgent business to sort out. We have an alien in the laboratory. There's one in the robotics room as well. Right, okay. We're still being a bit unlucky here. Desperately needed a 2 for Sarah to use. I shouldn't be able to use a Scorcher because she can't get into that room to do it. Yeah, the laser sword would have been no good for James. I'm tempted to use the freeze action. It's a little desperate. Let's give a shoot to Max. Robot. Sarah has to have a 6, I think. Yes, I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to do Max moving to here, 1, 2 with his 4, and then he can shoot that guy back just to keep a bit of order. The robot is going to move there. Oh, that's bad. Yeah, I was thinking hopefully I could have frozen that alien out of there using James's freeze command. But that will also destroy this robot, which I just cannot get out of that room with a 1. It was there, so 1, you know, it can only move there or there. I think I'm going to have to just sacrifice the robot. I'm going to, with James, I'm going to freeze this room here. Well, I could freeze this room, but this is the guy that's really causing problems here. There's a danger of losing. In fact, yes, if I move the robot, wait. If I move the robot there, it leaves Sarah as the nearest crew, so this will attack her. So yeah, okay, it doesn't really matter either. I'm going to freeze that room. So James is going to freeze the laboratory. Okay, so that has the effect of killing the crew in there. So the robot is removed. We can reactivate it, and this alien is removed back to the start of its track. However, because we have frozen it, okay, then thematically it undergoes some kind of genetic change. So not only does it run away injured, licking its wounds, it then heals and comes back as an indestructible alien. Okay, so the counters with the game have a different symbol for that. This is sort of indestructible alien symbol. And as the name suggests, that means we cannot kill that at all until the research level reaches 12. We can't freeze it, we can't scorch it, we can't laser sword it, we can't shoot it from a turret. So this will now move down here and it will come hunting the crew, and we're going to have to try and stay out of its way until we get to 12. Don't usually like to do that until the research level is up here somewhere, but I'm just not sure I had much option there. Sarah then has a 6, so she's going to go 1, 2, 3, and she's going to send out a pulse to the bottom to tracks 4, 5 and 6, which will push all of these 3 back to give us a bit of breathing space. We're going to struggle to activate the robot straight away because there's an alien in there. Let's see what they do. Now we don't want to see any 2s. Unfortunately, we haven't got any here, which is good, because we don't want this guy coming along too soon. So it's 3, 4, 4, 4, 5, 5. So we've got 3, 4, 4, 4, 5, 5. Back to us. And we take a 1, 3, 5. We've got a 1, 3, 5. Okay. Right, Max, you have to research. Sarah can shoot with that, and James is just going to go where? He's going to teleport wherever we need him. I'll think about that. So Max is going to go 1, 2, and then research. Sarah is going to shoot 1, 2, 3, and shoot this alien back. And James is going to teleport to here. Then he could use his laser. If that doesn't move, he could potentially use his laser sword next time. 1, 2, 3. No doubt it will move, but you never know. Okay, let's see what we'll do them. Oh, what did I say about not wanting any 2s? Look at that. That's dreadful, isn't it? At least the 1 didn't move, but crikey. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then he moves 1, and that moves 1. Crikey. That's not good. Right, back to us. 3 would be nice. We haven't got any. Oh, no chance to research, no chance to re-roll. Sarah could shoot. Oh, Max could shoot. James can not do a great deal again, so let's leave him. Max can go back into the turret and he only can put this 3 back. Sarah can shoot the 5 back. At least we're keeping these at bay whilst... Oh, I don't really know. Max is going to stay there. Oh dear. This is going to come to an abrupt end very soon, I think. Okay, this time they've got 2 1s, a 2 and a 3, double 6. So this alien here, remember, it's in the outpost. It's heading towards the nearest crew member, which is James. So 1, 2, straight across like that. The 2, this indestructible alien comes down here. 3, this alien comes there. Double 6, 1, 2. Wow. 3 would still be helpful, please. Oh dear, oh dear. Cannot believe it. Cannot believe it. Sarah's probably going to have to shoot. James can actually shoot as well, can't he? Let's give Max the... Oof. Okay, in fact, I think I'm going to teleport Max down to the refrigeration room because he's good in there and we're probably going to need it. James, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up into there, and all he can do is shoot that back. But every little helps, I suppose, and Sarah can shoot that back. Oh dear. Okay, 1, 2, 3, double 5, 6. So this 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So he's going to move towards either Max or Sarah. For now, I'm going to take him along towards Sarah because at least Sarah can defend herself with the Scorcher if necessary, and if she gets the dice. 2. So this guy moves into the outpost. It's bad. 3. Then we've got 2 5s and a 6. Maybe I should have put Max in a robotics room to activate a robot. Even if we just stuck it in this turret, I don't know. Max needs to research as well. Oh dear, I'm not sure what's going on here now. Oh dear, oh dear. Yeah. It's really not much good, these people just shooting. It's not really doing us any good, is it? No, Max can have the 6. Sarah can shoot, James can have the 3. So James can 1, 2, 3. Unfortunately, can't use his laser sword because he's not adjacent to anyone. Sarah's going to shoot that guy back. And Max is going to freeze the defense room, which will send alien number 1 right back to the start of its track, but it will come back as a indestructible alien. Of course, it won't affect this one because that is an indestructible alien. And we can't do that. If we were on research level 12, freezing that would have destroyed both those aliens permanently, but unfortunately our research project has been very poor, and the blame for that must be on the robot. Must be on the robot, who has been pretty awful this turn, this game. Okay, 3, 4, 5. Sarah can keep shooting. James would love to use his laser sword. We can't use it on this guy. It can't reach him anyway. Max could shoot. We need him to go and do some research. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. I'm going to put Max there in the hope that he might be able to run past into there at some point. James, stay where you are. I think Sarah shoots that guy back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 6. Eek. Right. Yeah. Problematic. Right. Okay. At least we've got a teleport, so we'll give that to Max. And James and Sarah can't really do anything very useful. Sarah can shoot, but James is going to stay there. Sarah keeps shooting these back, but it's not really helping a great deal. Max is going to teleport over to there. Aliens go again. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 6. 1, 2, 2. So he's going to move there, regardless of who he's going towards. 3, 4, 6. 3. Actually, leave that. 3, 4, 6. Okay, so I didn't move 4 because he has no clear path to a crew member. Okay, it's blocked by this alien here. So it's in the outpost. So we assess we find the nearest crew to which there is a clear path, and there is no clear path because it's blocked by this alien. So he just won't move. He'll just sit there and wait. It's almost like his centre's blocked by this alien. You know? As soon as there's a gap, he'll come hunting. But for now, sat there waiting menacingly. Okay, we are struggling here. Max is going to have to research. James is going to have to just run. And Sarah is going to have to just pray, I'm afraid. So Max, 1, 2, sorry, research first, and then move 2. James will move 2. Sarah will hide there. Bad. Alien 2 will move 2. Clearest path is to nearest path. Clearest path to a nearest crew is Sarah, so that will go 1, 2, and that, I'm afraid, eliminates Sarah from the game. The 3 brings him down. Then we've got 5, 6, 6. We now only have 2 guys left. And we've got double 1. I'm going to roll that again. I'm going to roll that again. Because I can, and not just because I'm cheating. Because they're matching die, so I can re-roll them once. 5, 6. What is going on here? I think they're just going to stay where they are. They are just going to stay there. 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 6. 1, 2. It's coming back now. 3, 3, 3, 6. Right, so now we could do something. Come on, James. You need to use your laser sword, mister. Oh, it's all 5s and 6s. Usually they're pretty good rolls, but at the moment, in the situation we're in, they're not. We desperately need a 3. We can't move out. We can't move past this alien. We have no teleport function here. We have to lose James first because Max can at least research, but there's no way we're doing this from this position. We're only halfway up the research track. Awful. Awful. As I say, the first 2 outposts easier than this. This is not, certainly not the most difficult. It's number 3. I must have messed up somewhere, or just been unlucky, I guess. So 2 for him. Alien number 2 won't move now because he hasn't got a clear path. Alien number 3 will move there. Alien number 5 will go down there. Alien number 6 will enter the outpost, but then he wouldn't move any further because it's blocked. Okay, this is it, guys. You have to teleport the heck out of here. Now I need that double 1. Oh, 1 and a 3, look. Unfortunately, James can't use his laser sword because he's in a different area to the alien. But what we can do, of course, is teleport Max down to the refrigeration room. James moves into the turret. A bit of safety, maybe. Okay, they get 2. Oh, look at that. Just sums up, doesn't it? Sums my game up today, I think that. So 2, he won't move because he has no clear path to any crew. 4, 4, 4, 4, ridiculous. Look, 1, 2, 3, and he kills Max. Now, aliens stop when they kill a crew member or the robot, including the robot. So even though he's got 4 moves, they just stop there. Okay, so if he was adjacent, he would have gone in, killed Max, and then stopped. So they end their move. It says up here, if an alien lands on a crew member, he or she is eliminated, and the alien ends the move. And we have a 5, so that moves up there. So we've just got James left. Now we've lost at that point because James cannot research. I say what am I talking about? We haven't lost because he could activate a robot and the robot could do the research. That's why we have the robot there, Mike. Remember that? Yes, I do. Okay, come on then, James. He gets a 4. No use to him whatsoever. Yep. He could activate the shields if he was here, but he isn't. He can't get there. And the robots get 3 3s, so that's going to go 1, 2, and that will kill James. There you go, guys. It's not easy, but who wants an easy solitaire game? Hope you can do better than me. As soon as the book's published, I will put up a flick-through video to show you the other outposts. Thanks, guys.